Hello my friends, my family, my dear colleagues. Today I want to make a short video about how we should eat meat, because what we are being told about chewing 20 times before swallowing and all kinds of baloney that we make up as we go along just because we don't know anything confuses everybody. When we are talking about meat recommendation, especially pushed by the doctors, is, well, you have to cook your meat very well, because otherwise you can get bacteria infection and all kinds of stuff, which is utter nonsense. Because if the animal was sick, it would not be put for food. It would be buried. Animals are being always checked for their health and before slaughtering, and even then meat is being checked on the line there when they are cutting it in pieces before freezing it. So meat that you get in the store is a healthy meat. Meat can get polluted from handling, so this is why be careful how people are handling the meat that you are buying. You know, should be touched by hands. Also, where it is being put, if the area is polluted with germs, then of course you will get germs on the meat. Same like when we talk about salmonella, we say, oh, eggs. People are afraid of eating eggs because of salmonella. Salmonella is not in the egg. Salmonella again comes from the pollution. Most of the time, almost all the time, when we talk about food. And the way how it is handled later or processed, if hygienic level is not high enough, yeah, you can get some pollution there. But if you buy egg, always examine the egg. When you break it, before you discard the shell, look on the inside, because there could be some small crack on the outside that you don't notice, which allow bacteria to seep in. And then they usually discolor the inner shell. So you look inside, if you see some green spot or something, okay, then throw the egg and the shell away. But if the shell inside is perfect, there is no way there's going to be salmonella in this egg. But if it was on the outside, and if the egg went over your fingers and the outside of the egg was polluted with salmonella, well, ups, you can get it in there. But usually in this case, amount is very small. Then you are going to eat the egg, no time for the bacteria to grow and infest the egg. So usually even this may not present a problem. But when we go to meat, well, we are always told meat has to be really cooked well. Cook it 20 minutes, I don't know, pressure cooker. Well, this is nonsense. Because if meat would present any problem, we would not have any meat eaters. We don't have any carnivores, because they would be all dead. Meat actually is the healthiest food we can have, and the healthiest way of eating meat is raw. We are just programmed already in such a way that we shy away from raw meat. But many mothers will notice that their young children will sneak and grab a piece of raw meat and stick it in their mouth. We say, well, children put everything in their mouth, but actually children love the taste of raw meat. We start liking it also once when we start eating it. But starting to do something different, well, this takes courage, because we are so brainwashed, we are so afraid of doing things differently that very often we just shy from the whole thing. If you are overheating the meat coagulates. What does it mean? Well, the protein breaks, flattens out, pushes out the water, the whole meat loses the size. And becomes nothing more than shoe leather. So no surprise here when we are being told by the doctors, don't eat too much meat, especially red meat. Why red meat? Because red meat has very little fat in it. Fat is on the outside, but meat itself has very little fat. So once when it coagulates, it becomes really mealy and hard, and you have to then overcook it to just break it. But even this way, it is difficult to digest because by overheating, you kill the natural digestive enzyme which are present in the meat. You leave piece of meat exposed, just protected from fungus and from flies, and this meat is within a week or two, it is going to turn into gelatin. It will self-digest, and then you leave it long enough, you just have a mark of dry something that was there that doesn't resemble meat. It's like a mud, because the gelatin dries out, and what you have is just remnants of the protein that was there. Once when you coagulate meat, then this process doesn't happen, because you basically destroy the self-digestive enzymes. This is why when you are eating meat raw, then it self-digests. It does not even need your digestive enzymes. It just needs the hydrochloric acid in the stomach to break down the protein, but basically it does not need for digestion anything. This is why raw eggs are so healthy. And once when you overheat them, the protein loses water and from clear becomes white. This is why you call it egg white. It's not egg white when you break the egg. It's egg transparent, but becomes white when it loses the water. Same like eye lens. When it loses water, you have cataract, because then the protein that is in the lens becomes visible. Has nothing to do with the sun, it is dehydration. And same is happening with the meat. Loses in size because loses water, becomes hard, no enzymes go in, doesn't get digested. In this way, if it is minced, then more chance of it to be digested. But minced meat is a terrible thing for our digestion because it does not pull through the intestines. And here we go about the chewing. Yeah, when you eat something you're not supposed to eat, well, chew hell of it, because maybe you will kill some of the toxin that is there. But when it comes to meat, you don't want to chew it. And since we have lost the feeling of what we should do and what we should not do, especially when food is in question, observe animals. You don't have to go far. Just if you have a dog, watch your dog. Even cat. Most cats are not now used to eat garbage that we are preparing. So if you give a cat a pellet or a piece of bread, and cat would eat it, because if it's used to it, it would chew it for a while, and it will get stuck on the palate and will have a hard time to chew it. Same with dogs. But piece of bread, they're gonna go and chew it. Give them a bigger piece of meat and they go and gone. This is why carnivores, they do not really chew. They tear and swallow. Because how the intestines work, they go into contraction, and I don't know if you ever watch your mother, or if you do it yourself, putting elastic in pants or whatever, with needle or something, and you push and you pull and push and pull. Well, this is how intestines work. But with this maceration, they actually do pulling. But if there is nothing to pull, if there is no fiber, well, they are just doing this, and stuff does not move. So this is why doctor says, well, you need to have fiber, because fiber is fiber, it's longer, and then it can be pulled. Well, meat has a fiber, natural fiber, that digests much, much slower and much more difficult than actual protein. It's a collagen fiber. So when you're eating bigger chunks of meat, if you're swallowing them, okay, you can chew it, but you will notice when you chew meat, you don't really break it. You just squeeze the juice out of it, make it smaller in this way, and then you swallow it. Now, the collagen fibers are staying intact, and there is enough fiber for intestine to pull and to get stuff moving. If you have minced meat, you have broken this collagen fiber, and there is no pulling, there is only macerating, and it doesn't move anywhere. So hamburger is not such a good thing to eat. And if you are having hamburger, try, because I do have it also, but don't make the mincemeat as like a paste. Make it in a bigger particles. I prefer, even when my wife has the time once in a while and she cuts the meat small, it's even better because it's better for digestion. But the thing is that for us it doesn't really matter so much because we do eat our meat basically raw or just about raw. We sear it on the outside, but when I cut my cheeseburger, inside it's all raw. And this self-digests. And then once, twice a week I have some salad, and this fiber of salad helps to just cleanse this. But even just by drinking this 1 liter of water every morning with the sea salt, well, this stream of water, pyoop, pyoop, and it kind of helps things go along. I never have any digestive problems. 8 years I am a meat eater, basically meat eater, and never constipation, never any noise in my stomach, never any problem. I feel extremely well. So the trick is, when you are eating meat, okay, you don't have to, it's hard to start off bat with the raw. Yeah, well, you can have carpaccio. Carpaccio raw is fabulous. Then you can switch to steak tartare, which is basically version of hamburger, but raw. And then you can go with a seared meat or even seared hamburger, and then just so it's raw inside, and seared meat, and just quickly sear it so it's maybe 1 millimeter that is cooked on both sides. It's warm inside, but when you cut it, it's really raw or very, very pink and juicy on the inside. This can be digested, and this will have a fiber in it. And basically cut it in chunks that you can swallow. Yeah, you chew it a little bit because it's nice taste, and you squeeze the juices out, but then you don't really break it in pieces, and you just swallow it in these clumps. It is much healthier for the digestive system because it moves much easier through your intestinal tract. Overcooking anything is a terrible thing. Even people who eat corn, in Europe, even here in South America, which is the country of corn, everybody eats corn. They overcook the stuff. They cook it for 20 minutes, same like in Europe, until it's soft. Actually, the best corn ever I ate when I visited Wisconsin during my college days, my university days. I went to visit my brother, and then in New York, and then I have a pen pal in Wisconsin, so I went on their farm, and it was a time when corn was young, and they made corn party in barrels with fire underneath them, water. They put corn. On the side they had this little metal things full of butter, liquid butter, because it was next to the heat, and with the salt. And you just pick up the corn, you shell it, and then you put it in, twist it in this butter. But corn was cooked, I don't know, 6 minutes. They put it in and in a second they just go there and eat. I said, wow, this is still raw. But when I tried, it was fantastic. Again, it's not anymore what I eat. Unfortunately, because I really love it, but it is not our food. It's not good for our digestive system. Actually, now I just came back from excursion. I was in Cusco and Machu Picchu, and over there they have like 400 different types of potatoes, and I was curious to try them. So I was actually eating potatoes almost every day when I was there. Well, when I came back, I gained two kilos in 2 weeks, and I felt bloated, and I started with my cleansing mechanism and went to see my friend chiropractor, and she checks me up. Wow, your intestines are hard and inflamed. What did you do? And I said, well, this is your proof, carbohydrates. Also, wherever I go, I watch people and I see what their diet basically is, and I look at the elderly people to see how they live. Every elderly person up there in the mountains, and they put very little toxicity on their food. They don't use much pesticides or herbicides. But when you look at the old people, yes, they live 80 years, 90 years, but this is not old as when I talk about it. But they can barely walk. They are deformed, their legs get deformed, their bodies buckle down. I feel sorry for them, because this is not what has to happen. We don't have to deteriorate when we are getting old. Actually, the aging, this is a spiral. We are always in progression. We should get stronger and stronger, not weaker and weaker. So this was another proof that diet that they have, which is basically potatoes and corn, is a terrible, terrible diet for the body. Here we are again, carbohydrates. But when we go back to the meat, try to have it as raw as possible. You can eat any kind of a meat, but as raw as possible. Very often people say, I don't eat meat, I eat fish. Well, fish is meat. Okay, whatever makes animal muscles are meat, what we call meat. So if it has muscles, well, it has a meat. So eat it as raw as possible. The fish, when you prepare it, as soon as you can separate bones from the flesh, from the meat, fish is done. It may look like it's still raw. It's done. Okay, and you should not go any further than that. But raw fish is fabulous too. Okay, I hope I made some sense. Talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.